So today I want to talk about Moby Dick, or The Whale, as Herman Melville alternatively titles his kind of canonical work. There's an early passage at the beginning of the book where Ishmael describes why he goes to sea and why he goes to sea specifically as a sailor and not perhaps somebody of a more important rank or job. And I love this little paragraph here. He says, "As always, I go to sea as a sailor because they make the point of paying me for my trouble, whereas they never pay passengers a single penny that I've ever heard of." Like, haha, true. On the contrary, passengers themselves must pay. And there is all the difference in the world between paying and being paid. Now, that, I think, is the profound point. And he goes on to say, "The act of paying is perhaps the most uncomfortable infliction that the two orchard thieves entailed upon us." I believe those to be Adam and Eve, the orchard thieves, right? But being paid, what will compare with it? The urbane activity with which a man receives money is really marvelous, considering that we so earnestly believe money to be the root of all earthly ills, and that on no account can a moneyed man enter heaven. So I think that's also from the biblical passage, right? Like that, a rich man will enter heaven no sooner than a camel will pass through the eye of a needle. It's kind of an odd choice. It definitely shows you the desert connotations from which that book was written, right? A camel, like, get out of here. Anyway, how cheerfully we consign ourselves to perdition. So yeah, I really enjoy this because he points out this dichotomy, right? That we love being paid for things. We hate paying for stuff. And yet at the same time, we recognize that, at least if we consider ourselves Christians or people who follow the Judeo-Christian ethic, then what we're really doing is harming our chances for eternal happiness, or the ability to get into heaven. So there's this conflicted state of if literature is helping us understand what it means to be human, he's pointing out right at the beginning, hey, look, here's this dichotomy that I don't know if anyone's ever been able to wrestle with. Kind of now in the United States, we have this very muscular kind of Judeo-Christian view where making money is exactly what God wants us to do. Whether or not that is true, of course, I have no idea. But at least in his view at the time, is saying, hey, the mainstream religious teaching is that we believe money to be the root of all earthly ills, yet we aspire, we want it, and we enjoy it so much when we receive it. And so for the simple act of just going to sea, which is something he wants to do, he could pay for a ticket as a passenger, or he could work. And even though he must endure all these awful things as a common sailor, it's still so much more worth it because he gets paid. And this is also a little bit odd, given that we learn later in the book that his share from the whaling voyage is essentially so small that he really won't make any money once the ship returns to port, unless they basically get a zillion whales. But realistically, he's basically just getting a free ride and food and board, and then a little bit of money at the end. But anyway, I just absolutely love this. I think it always sticks out to me, that phrase. And there is all the difference in the world between paying and being paid. So true, Mel.